Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
Ron is back, everyone. Welcome back for more SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult. Guys, I know the title of this video sounds absolutely crazy. John Travolta is the father of Elvis Presley's great-grandson. I had totally forgot that this was a thing that's relatively well known in the former Scientology community. I've known this for years. It's not some big secret. It's not anything that has come up in a video. I've never had a reason to, it's never been relevant to anything. But now it's become relevant to something. And in retrospect, I should have remembered that this relationship between the Travolta family and between the Presley family gives much deeper context and meaning to Lisa Marie Presley and Riley Keough, her daughter, not going public with their problems with Scientology and David Miscavige. I think this actually makes Lisa Marie and Riley much more sympathetic and makes, I've been very hard on Lisa Marie and Riley for continuing to stay in Scientology so they can keep all their Scientology friends. Well, particularly Riley. Lisa Marie, towards the end of her life, I don't think she had any more Scientology friends. But I've been pretty hard on Riley for going along to get along, or is it getting along to go along, and, wanting to keep all her Scientology friends. The truth is, if Riley Keough were to go public with her hatred of David Miscavige and Scientology, it would force John Travolta and his family to disconnect from Riley and the Presley family. When in reality, John Travolta's son is biologically Riley Keough's son. And I think people don't actually understand just how close John Travolta and Lisa Marie Presley were. I've alluded to it. I've discussed it, but I'd honestly forgotten all about this. And, Lisa Marie very tragically lost her son, Ben. But prior to that, John Travolta had very tragically lost his son, Jet. And Lisa Marie was actually personally traveling with John and Kelly Preston to and from the funeral service for Jet. And somewhere along the line here, Lisa Marie offered her and Riley to help John and Kelly have another baby. And that is how it came to be that that Riley was the egg donor for the baby. And Kelly carried the baby to term and gave birth to the baby. It wasn't a surrogate. Like, Kelly carried the baby to term and gave birth to the baby. And then John and Kelly gave their son the same name as Lisa Marie's son, Ben. And to do that much for a friend. It is just so touching. And I honestly can't believe that I forgot. I honestly can't believe that I forgot about this personal dynamic when talking about uh, Lisa Marie and Riley, and how strongly they were against David Miscavige and Scientology behind the scenes, but never ended up going public with that. And then for various reasons, Scientology somewhat blackmailed Lisa Marie into keeping her mouth shut and coming back, and not really coming back, but just bringing her back into the fold a little bit. There was a little blackmail involved there. And of course, Riley not only has never publicly spoken out, but she's continued to very publicly have Scientologist friends. And I'll tell you, when I said it, it's become relevant now. Here's what I mean. This is an article from the Underground Bunker blog from yesterday. Elvis Presley and Priscilla have previously unknown grandchild in Florida. Lawsuit claims. Let's take a close look at this. The kicker here and the misdirector is the word grandchild, because the truer statement is great grandchild. And if you didn't know the connection between Riley Keough and John and Kelly and Benjamin Travolta, then you wouldn't know. You would think that perhaps something that we're going to talk about here that was mentioned in a lawsuit was just a mistake. But I suspect that Tony also knows this. Otherwise, I'm not sure there's a reason for Tony to seize on what he's reporting here. But let's just go through this step by step here. So Elvis Presley and Priscilla have previously unknown grandchild in Florida, lawsuit claims. Okay, so Priscilla Presley, the individual, is being sued by Priscilla Presley, the company. Priscilla Presley, the company, is run by a woman named Brigitte, is how I'm choosing to pronounce that name. Brigitte Cruz. There's been some unhappiness between Brigitte and Priscilla. Brigitte helped Priscilla through some financial problems, and now she's suing Priscilla in a Florida court. I'm just paraphrasing this stuff. Brigitte is suing Priscilla in a Florida court. There's going to be an evidentiary hearing in Orlando. Priscilla's saying she has nothing to do with Florida. She lives in LA. All of her operations are in LA. Okay. On Thursday afternoon, Brigitte Cruz filed a new motion asking for the court's permission to file a new amended complaint in the case. Okay, they're going to file a new thing. Priscilla's not opposing that. Okay, it says, now that they know Priscilla is fighting the lawsuit by saying she has no ties to Florida, the new version of the complaint attacks this directly with a bombshell. Priscilla Presley has deep personal ties to Florida. Her late daughter, Lisa Marie Presley, lived in Florida. In addition to a grandchild, the grandchild of Elvis and Priscilla Presley, who still resides in Florida as of today. Well, of course, the only grandchild of Priscilla and Elvis is Lisa Marie. And Lisa Marie doesn't live in Florida today because Lisa Marie's not alive anymore. So, of course, the way the language in this lawsuit exists makes it seem like there is an unknown grandchild. And I wonder if that was just like, I wonder if it was a mistake. And also, what's interesting is that someone like Brigitte Cruz, who's just a business associate and a personal friend of Priscilla, has the same knowledge that is quite well known in the former Scientology community, which I thought was interesting. It just never occurred to me that this would be pertinent. And yet now it's being mentioned in a lawsuit. Okay, I am also told that it is legally acceptable to refer to a great-grandchild as a grandchild. It still falls under the umbrella. So technically, it's not that the language is incorrect. It's just that the language isn't as precise as it could be. Okay, let's see where else this goes here. Okay, so Tony goes on to say, the sentence doesn't name the grandchild, but it very carefully delineates that it is a grandchild of Elvis Presley and Priscilla Presley, whose only child was Lisa Marie. I'm sorry, did I misspeak earlier? Did I say the only grandchild of Priscilla and Elvis was Lisa Marie? Did I say that? Did I say that a few minutes ago? My apologies, guys. My apologies. Okay, so Lisa Marie is the only daughter of Elvis and Priscilla. And Lisa Marie has had 4 kids. Riley, who lives in California. Benjamin, who lived in California but is no longer alive. And she has two twins who live with, I think their father is Michael Lockwood. I think the twins live with Michael, also in California. So none of the known grandchildren of Elvis and Priscilla live in Florida. Okay. Or none of the known grandchildren. Now, if no one knew any better, if no one knew that there was an unknown biological descendant of Priscilla and Elvis, someone would just think that Brigitte was making a mistake. So for someone to look at this lawsuit and go, there's an unknown grandchild, I think it means you have to already know that there's an unknown grandchild, or AKA unknown great grandchild. Okay, so let's see where else he goes with this. Lisa Marie's daughter Riley lives in California, not Florida. Her son Ben died in 2020. Blah, 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 blah. The twins live with Michael Lockwood in California. Okay. The lawsuit, in other words, is implying that Lisa Marie had another previously unknown child who lives today in Florida, and that this existing grandchild is part of the reason that Priscilla has definite ties to the state of Florida. The new complaint goes on to point out that in January 2023, okay, that doesn't matter. It's just more real estate stuff for Priscilla. Okay. Tony says, we assume what will follow is a tabloid feeding frenzy as attempts are made to figure out who this grandchild of Elvis Presley is and who his or her father is. Less than 2 weeks ago, Lisa's memoir, From Here to the Great Unknown, finished and was edited. Oh, it was finished and edited by Riley, was released. And in it, she discusses living in Clearwater, Florida for quite a few years. The book is less than forthcoming that the reason Priscilla and Lisa were there was because they were both heavily involved in Scientology, which has its spiritual mecca in Clearwater, Florida. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And he finishes off by saying, someone who was previously very close personally to Priscilla Presley is saying in a lawsuit that Priscilla has a secret grandkid in Florida. Let the feeding frenzy begin. Well, let's end the feeding frenzy. There's no secret grandchild in Florida. There is, however, a biological great grandson living in Florida by the name of Benjamin Travolta. And I think this one of the things that went through my mind when I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot about that, is that it is another instance where Scientology, through the threat of enforced familial disconnection, is once again able to control the lives and the actions and behaviors of people who would rather not have anything to do with Scientology. Riley Keough does not give a damn about Scientology. Priscilla Presley does not give a damn about Scientology and is out of Scientology despite reports to the contrary. And yet, if they were to publicly do anything, John Travolta and his family would be forced to disconnect from them. Yet another example of Scientology exerting influence over people who aren't even actually members, just like they did to my family and my in-laws and my brother-in-law and my brother-in-law's wife and all this stuff. They were forced, even though they're not even Scientologists. My brother-in-law is not even a Scientologist. Well, Heather's brother, not even a Scientologist. Heather's brother's wife, not even a Scientologist. Hate Scientology. Were forced to disconnect from us because each of their parents are Scientologists. And they were told that if they, two non-Scientologists, didn't disconnect from us, all of the rest of their families would disconnect from them. That exact same dynamic is affecting the lives of the Presleys and the Travoltas. Okay, in looking up some articles, just preparing for this, I was surprised just less than a year ago when Ben turned 13. The Travoltas published some photos in People magazine, or at least on the website. And you can see here a photo of John and Ella and Ben. Now, if anyone remembers what Jet Travolta looked like, Jet and Ella are practically carbon copies of John. And it was funny when I looked at this, I was like, Ben looks different. And then I was like, but hold on. I mean, you can have two parents who have, multiple kids, and you can still have one kid that looks different. And then I was like, does Ben look more like Kelly or more like Riley? And then it occurred to me, do Kelly and Riley even look that much different? And what's remarkable, guys, I just happened to last night watch the first 2 episodes of Riley's television show. Is it Joni and the Six? Oh, it's gonna kill me if I don't look this up. Riley Keough TV show music. Daisy Jones and the Six. She is phenomenal in this TV show, by the way. But Riley is such a unique and striking individual that I was like, what did a young Kelly Preston look like compared to Riley Keough? And what's remarkable is how similar they actually look. Look at this. Now, similar eye shape, similar nose, similar smile, even somewhat similar, chin shape. Although I would still argue that Riley's is very, very, very unique. Very unique. Like Riley has a smile that is just the shape of her smile is very, very unique. And for what it's worth, when I look at this photo and I zoom in on, Ben's smile, having just watched the TV show last night, I go, oh my God, it really does look like Riley Keough's smile. And anyway, just to see this coming up in an actual lawsuit jogged my memory on this. And I think it's important for the deeper meaning of, well, first of all, how close Lisa Marie Presley and John Travolta actually were. I can tell you they're close enough that even after Lisa Marie Presley went to the Flag Land Base in Clearwater, Florida, to personally tell off David Miscavige and had it out, David Miscavige wouldn't show up for the meeting, so he sent his sisters. I kid you not, he sent his sisters. And when his sisters showed up to the meeting with Lisa Marie Presley, Lisa ripped his sisters the new asshole that she was going to rip David Miscavige. Even after Lisa Marie Presley went to Flag to tell David Miscavige where he can shove his head, okay, she still was hanging out late nights with John Travolta, talking shit about David Miscavige and Scientology, while Kelly Preston, John Travolta's wife, was auditing on OT7. And so that's why when I say that I don't believe John Travolta really cares about Scientology, I believe John Travolta cares about the people and the friends that he knows in Scientology and doesn't want to lose those people. It's because if John Travolta if he was like a Tom Cruise, if he's like, the only thing that matters to me is keeping Scientology working, he never would have even associated with Lisa Marie Presley after she got on David Miscavige's bad side. John Travolta didn't care. Okay. And so I am so personally struck and touched by this story as far as what it means as an act of friendship and love between two families and two people. And yeah, I think it's much better to put the correct information out there, especially in a positive way. And in a way that I think makes Riley look much more sympathetic as far as continuing to stay quiet. Because the truth is, John Travolta's son is biologically Riley Keough's son. And dare I say, if I were in Riley's shoes, I don't think I would jeopardize that relationship. I don't think I would. And so I sort of would like to apologize to Riley for being so hard on her and criticizing her for not speaking out publicly. I myself stayed under the radar in Scientology from 2009 to 2014. And so I know what that's like, and I know what the motivations are for doing that. That's the info, guys. That's all we got. Let's see. What do we have here? Let's look at some comments. Clearwater Chad, good to see you. Lori Plays says, member for 7 months, disappointed in Lisa Marie Presley's memoirs, soft take on Scientology. Lori, I hear you. I hear you. Natalie told me that she read the memoir, that it's actually quite a quick read. I'm going to download it on Audible and listen to it myself. I wonder if, especially knowing that Riley is the one who had control of the final product, I wonder if this gives a bit more of an explanation as to why the final product was as soft as it was. Happy Healing Train says, Riley still has so many friends in Scientology, so I think that is why. Indeed. Wonder Woman, Aaron, we need to see a family tree diagram, please. Yes, I'm sure I confused everything by saying Lisa Marie was Elvis's granddaughter, so I apologize for that. Okay, let's see. What is the point of the lawsuit? I think this lawsuit is over money and even control. So like Brigitte controls Priscilla Presley, the corporation, and she's suing Priscilla Presley, the person. Let's see. Karen says, how many people know this information? Oh, there's no way for me to know. All I know is that it's not a secret. Like I found out years and years ago. I mean, I obviously wouldn't have no idea of knowing how many people know, but like I know, and I've got no special connection to any of the people involved. So, oh, Eileen says egg donors are usually picked from similar looking women. I guess that makes perfect sense. Let's see. Cricket Cinema. I'm a hobby genealogist, and just the title of this video makes my head hurt. I totally get it. Let's see. Gabrielle, Escaping the Cultiverse. The Presleys and the TRAVOLTA'S family dynamic is so tragic. I've cried through the book. I cannot wait to listen to the book. I'm told it's actually only a couple of hours long. I listen to these things on 2x speed. So, yeah. Let's see. Brenda Robert, Aaron, you have a heart for families, and by all accounts, a great dad. You're close to the surface. Emotions tell it all. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, guys, we're just gonna keep this one short and sweet. I've got like 3 other videos. I was planning on doing videos yesterday. I was planning on doing more videos today. It's already 4:30. I think I'll try to do one more video today. We'll see, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you, as always, to everyone who watches until the very end, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right